Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LPL 2025 Split 2.
Level 1 here, Tarzan, theoretically could try to go for something very aggressive if he wanted to at level 3, and he is.
Yeah, it is cleanse on 1xn, not the barrier, so you don't get as much help with this dive. 1xn is getting cornered, corralled towards his turret. It's going to cleanse the ignite. First kill's going to go down. 1xn flashes out. Tarzan, luckily, with the untargetable, is able to drop the aggro because one more shot would have made that a big TT win.
Yeah, it's just a little bit greedy there for AL.
They are, but Xiaohongren definitely has to respect that Tarzan is going to hover here. Neither soul lanes are coming over to help the TT jungler, and Tarzan is just much stronger at this point off of that first kill. The tunneler versus no items for Xiaohongren, who maybe is just trying to play a bit of a stall job. Tarzan does take a lot of damage. Hoya now has arrived to try and cover, and Tarzan is way up creek with no paddle right now, stuck in the might of Yorick, and Hoya is going to slap him down.
At the very least, so that really coming in clutch for Seitab, understanding the limits there. But because of that play with Tarzan, it's going to be Xiaohongren that does actually secure that first dragon. I say that, but Kyle is here.
Smite check.
Smite should be available, yeah.
Oh my god. Kyle Yorick matchup. So, not what you always see in... This is a good time as ever to bring up that the last time I saw Flandra against TT on this Scion... Okay, we're gonna have to bring up that point later.
Feather?
As Kyle is throwing down dredge lines. Feather, though, able to stall out well. 1xn. Premier clicks as always, getting out maximum damage, but Tarzan does swing down first. The pack is out for revenge here as Kyle flashes away from the crash down, then throws the dredge line right at a dismounted Feather, serving up a kill on ice for Hope in AL.
Yeah, again, staying active for Tarzan, this time with a much more reliable play, but he's not done. They're going to look for the dive here on 1xn with the wave crashing.
Okay, Kyle did back. Tarzan throws himself right to the caution, into 1xn, drops the turret aggro, masterfully so Hope can get the kill through. Tarzan making up for those mistakes at the Krugs, finds himself his second kill of the game.
Yeah, it's unfortunate timing for 1xn. He hit level 6 in the middle of that fight. If he hits it just a couple of seconds earlier, perhaps he can thin the wave enough to actually dissuade that play, but we're not done.
Oh, Seitab. He wasn't expecting Kyle to be so close to cover to Shanks. Feather and Xiaohongren dive on in, but Kyle's health bar is really lasting. The Glacial Prison has to be committed for Kyle to finally drop. But a ton of resources allocated just to find a kill onto the level 4 Nautilus.
Yeah, it's a nice counterplay from Thunder Talk. They do it to try and secure grub priority here as they have spawned on the map, but Tarzan now here as well.
Behind.
And Shanks is still full health. Teleport.
Feather does not have access to the Magnet Storm, and there's no ultimate for Xiaohongren, so they've definitely got to run their way out. Flandra does run into a bit of a wall. Doesn't matter. Getting the slows. Hoya does not have the flash available, so the knockup is going to land, and the Maiden is going to watch the Yorick drop and follow through. We talked about it going into this game. Both teams play very confident when they have themselves early leads. And AL are just dominating these cross-map plays. It feels like Tarzan is everywhere right now as Hoya is once again picked off. You don't do any damage to Flandra, and despite this, though, with the wave states not in control for AL, they are actually going to get bullied out of the pit. Problem for TT is they still don't have some of these ultimates coming online. The Glacial Prison is coming very soon, but Kyle is immediately going to be picked off, locked up with the Magnet Storm. Feather too far forward, but Kyle will not fall until the kills finally flow through. Fate Seal comes across for Seitab. He gets himself right back out where he came through, and it's going to have to be Tarzan once again, just like Game 1 the last time round, to try and clean up the fight for AL. But the only kill they end up finding is Seitab, and Tarzan is not going to dart over another wall into darkness.
Really, this Brush and Feather more than happy to be able to capitalize. Hope going to try to pull as much back as he can, but Xiaohongren once again kind of whiffing on that Sejuani ultimate. Not the first time this game that has happened. An awesome
and capitalize. The very man we just mentioned has the blast cone if he wants to get closer, but instead he's just going to cut down with the immediate dash. Seitab has nowhere to go, but back to base. Tarzan scrounges up his 4th kill of the game.
Tarzan is absolutely everywhere on the map as we see a bit of a replay of the kill onto topside here. Hoya going a little bit deep to have to get it. It sets Shanks up for the 1-for-1.
Not going to go quietly out of the river here. Like I said, trying to help Xiaohong Ren burn this thing down. They've got Satab coming from the top side as well. Top laners have TP advantage towards Hoya. We'll see if he joins the fight. Glacial Prison does go wide for Xiaohong Ren, and Tarzan just walks up, steals away the Eye of the Rift Herald. The Fate Seal from Satab falls just a couple yards short, and he pays the price. Timbers out from Shanks, Feather next to fall. AL dominating this top side river fight. York running away from structures is never a good thing.
Yeah, this has been the reason Annie has grown in priority so much, is it's constant pressure in the mid game. You can pretty much regularly drop Tibbers once that Malignance is built in the mid game, and especially if you get any sort of early action and early kills, as Shanks has done, it just becomes so difficult to actually contest as we see a teleport coming in from Hoya.
Shanks, you saw the TP, buddy.
Bubble Flash.
Okay, he is completely dead to the minions. That is some of the head scratching. Sort of switching up here by this point as they really try to lean into Hoya with some of these death brushes, but the vision from AL is just so on point. They spot 1xN and Feather hovering back towards this side, so Flandra has no reason to get anywhere close to his turret. And while that's going on, Hope knocks down the mid-tier 1 turret, going to rotate over, and Tarzan will be sneaky as ever, finding an angle to dash in on some of these carries, but he does have to be careful. Kyle, once again, singled out as the initial target, has to burn his flash back towards Hope, but Satab, off to his own world right now, won't be able to get through to the rest of the masses. Tarzan hopped on, using the target, will get right back over the wall, as AL continues to be as slippery as rubber.
Yeah, I mean, you can't catch AL, but it's well played by Thunder Talk to actually be able to establish priority there. Tarzan ends up jumping over the wall to separate him and Nautilus. No setup there, so Otacon actually going to be started here by Thunder Talk.
They have all of those Wombo ultimates except Xiaohong Ren's Glacial Prisons up in mere seconds. Can Tarzan steal another big 50-50? Kyle gonna brunt Feather. Tarzan gonna go on target, but the bullet time does hit its mark onto the Nefiri, but unfortunately, Satab's Fate Sealed falls flat once more, and Shanks knocks him down, and with that, you allow the resets for Tarzan to come
like that, but the problem for Satab here is I don't really foresee an easy way for him to get in so long as AL are keeping their mind on it. Hoya could be caught once again, though, here.
We've seen this play before. Flandra is far too tanky to deal with, and Tarzan has his own minions or pack to try and deal with, but my lord is the maiden making this one difficult. The ghouls are not to be trifled with Tarzan, and now Hoya gets to buy more space to get heals after heals. Untargetable does dodge out that big call towards the minions. So Tarzan able to find himself the kill, but looking a bit harder than it was earlier in the game.
Yeah, this time Shanks actually playing respectfully on the top side is going to back off and just seed the top lane tier 1, so it is just a 1-for-0. But interesting to see where Tarzan's putting the priority now. Sion's going to continue to push on the bot side, and Tarzan will be taking a lot of those camps. Baron is up. I expected more priority on Vision game around Baron at this point, but a 7-kill Nefiri is just a dangerous proposition. I don't think I need to tell anybody just how strong that is as Flandra takes the tier 2 here on the bot lane. Another big pickup for AL and the prize for that catch onto Hoya. But Satab once again...
Oh, yeah, no, never mind.
It's a
TP play
they don't
game,
want
man.
the Baron Vision. They want Hoya again.
All right. Slow comes across with that ult onto Flandra. Good job using the space bot by that big-time E drop through for Hoya, but Shanks has more than enough damage to just pop him if he gets the stun. And the pick play comes across with a single target damage comp.
Yeah, there's no pressure on the Baron because they have all of the priority over the area, so they just decide to pick up the free kill and
Satab! Oh, that is not a safe place to recall. Fate Sealed will not get you enough space. And we have an 8th kill coming through for Tarzan, repeating his Nefiri performance against the very team he smacked down just a month prior.
And that's a huge mistake from Satab, just overextending because he trusts his ability to be able to escape with the Fate Seal, but he's not able to get out. It's perfectly played, and AL catches him on the back. That's free Baron. There's no contest here. There's no way to actually do anything. The answer is actually going to be them taking away the dragon and, denying the soul at least for 5 more minutes, but this is Baron for 1 Chem Dragon. This is a gigantic win for AL, and it's all thanks to, Satab just being a little bit overextended here, and it might not even be Dragon.
Flandra! Oh my god, the bus is loose, and he's smacking down onto 1xN, who immediately burns both summoners. Flandra just casually 1 versus 2, does not even see Feather, and Xiaohong Ren cannot finish the dragon on his own. They left the Sejuani out to dry, and Tarzan flinks him into the wind. They do get the Chemtech Soul K-Man. AL are grabbing everything on the map right now, and next might just be Hoya. If Tarzan can sleuth him out, and he will, face checks right into Hoya. who is probably the most formidable opponent right now for this Naafiri. But good thing for Tarzan, there is no friends left in this top side. A 9th kill comes up
for anyone's legend, and so they're going to be sitting in a very, very dangerous spot, and Tarzan now sitting on 9 kills. He's going to be working for that 4th item. I imagine he'll have it on the back, the full item there, whatever he wants to go for, but it's gone from bad to worse for Thundertalk, and I can't imagine it's going to get better at any point.
And another, pain point for this comp for TT that we're now seeing materialize that we kind of skipped over a bit, K-Man, and I'll give you a clue on what the problem is. Look at Flandra's build path and tell me what that signals about TT's comp.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a little bit of a damage profile, lack of diversity, we can just say.
Really?
So this Scion has become unkillable from this point onwards.
Armored
and we're
up.
seeing that affect the map as we see the siege down now on the top side.
Flandra does not care about turrets. He cares about getting kills to his buddies. Goodbye, Feather. Shanks grabs that kill. Doesn't even need Tibbers this time. And we're using Wombo combo ultimates just to get out to safety. Glacial Prison does land on a Kyle, but boom goes the dynamite. Shanks drops Tibbers onto 3. And just like that, TT are melted under their own Nexus turrets. And Tarzan wants to put the cherry on top of this milkshake of a game for anyone's legend. Diving in onto Hoya. First Nexus turret's going to go down as Satab does recall. Minion waves coming across here, and Flandra is just so damn tanky. You can't stop this man. AL cannot be slowed down as TT are going to finally crumble to the might of one of the top contenders in the LPL to go up 1-0 in our series.
What a topside, and I think especially with all of the safety you have elsewhere, you've got the Ezreal to not really worry. I think Nico historically is a matchup that I would actually consider pretty positive into Nami.
Hoya, who is one shock blast and combo away from maybe just killing off this Nasus, and Xiaohong Ren says, hey buddy, I'm here to set you up for it, but he whiffs the Vault Breaker. Just a mental note for Tarzan to maybe try and revisit. Time to play a fun game of counting, everybody. Satab, you just watch a cannon minion go down just seconds ago, but instead he eats the Tangle Barb, and Shanks before 1x and Feather even know it. They're trying to back away from the turret. Tarzan initiates with the first stun, knowing Feather has no flash. Great bubble from Feather, but it just doesn't matter. Tarzan gets it done.
Try and activate himself on the top side, equalize the play.
All right, Flandra drops the ultimate, goes into big dog mentality. Hoya gonna wait it out. Xiaohong Ren gonna re-engage though with the cease and desist, but Flandra is just not taking enough damage, and this time forces a trade. The Aurora can be, but the more I think about it, actually, this is an Aurora that isn't near doing any amount of damage that really makes this lane too rough for Flandra.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the swap here. You want to keep taking advantage of that Nasus, especially now with that ult, off of cooldown or coming off of cooldown in about 6 seconds. Looks like just going to be the trade here.
The way he moves so slow, trying to kill off
Xiaohong
Ren. Flandra really trying to make it a credence on Xiaohong Ren, even steal away any of these minions as Kyle flashes after Feather for the Tangle Bar. Double bubble though from Feather. Will not bail him out. This guy's been locked in on these bubbles from Global Ultimates, but
not kill him.
He survives again, and they lose the turret race too, K-Man.
Yeah, I'm confused by the play, to be entirely honest. It feels like a lot invested, and I felt like Flandra might have popped ult too early there, but now no longer the ult on that side.
All right, and this time the dive looks a lot cleaner. You get away from the wave. Okay, but here comes the Grand Starfall. Bubble doesn't land, but Tarzan's ult does fall pretty flat. Doesn't really set up any pick plays, but instead Satab walks right up to a brush, disrespects the vision, and hands Tarzan an
Tarzan's here as well.
All right, let's see how much those first item breakpoints do to burn through the health bar of Flandra as Feather picked off, trying to move his way up towards this topside play. The heal, the great dodge on the spear, keeps Feather alive, but all while we were waiting for this pick to come across towards the Nami. It's a 1-for-1 trade onto Flandra. Xiaohong Ren gives his life for the dive. TT are trying to find a prosperous play off of it as they pick off a tier 1 turret as well. Oh yeah, maybe looking for actions between worlds, comes across from Satab, but doesn't trap Kyle or Tarzan. The Pop Blossom turn comes across. Tangle Barb lands onto Satab as well. Does Tarzan have enough single target damage with the Sundered Sky? Yes, he does. And guess who showed up in the wind? It's Shanks with the Realm Warp, throwing down, finds 1 kill.
I didn't even realize the Wither was the trade there.
Oh,
Shanks caught out?
Yeah, we saw this in game 1. This time Tarzan's going to try to come to the rescue and does burn through Hoya's health bar. And Luco's here to valley back up his superstar jungler. It's Kyle again. Xiaoheng Ren on the back foot. One more spear to the heart of the Vi should do it. But Saintab flashing forward actually makes it a trade. Luckily for AL, it's Hope to bail them out and make it a positive play. A double kill over the Ez, who continues to try and find a shot-calling stance for this TT team. Keep them proactive and competitive. The tidal wave going to come down, as what I said, does a really good job keeping space between Tarzan. Chunks him below half HP. We saw a lot of 50-50 smite steals for Tarzan in game number 1. Can he step up with no HP this time round? Kyle flies in with the pop blossom. Xiaoheng Ren does get the Rift Herald, re-engages Milu and sees an assist, trades himself for Tarzan. Saintab hops himself over the wall to safety. Nobody has collected the eye of the Rift Herald, but here comes Shanks into the eye of the storm of TT, flashing over the bubble. Does he have enough damage to knock down 1xN? Yes, he trades his life, but on the back end, down goes Hoya. Again, a messy clutter.
Try and, catch something out, catch anyone on the enemy team out with the pick. They have the tools to do so. Just going to be some vision trading back and forth between these two teams for now, but understandable that neither really want to blow the game. I say that as Hope.
Hope gets completely rattled by the cease and desist, but the arcade shift gets him back out to safety. Xiaoheng Ren does not escape Tarzan's might as he follows him over the wall and slams him down. Saintab's heroics are just far too late. All he finds is a kill onto Kyle. Another multi-kill fight for Hope on the Ezreal.
This is why you pick the Ezreal. He can just arcane shift himself to safety and keep himself out of harm's way, and the counter engage is real. Saintab going into trade 1-for-1 at the end, but I feel like that's hugely negative. It leaves AL all the opportunity in the world to go now and take this Otacon, which they're going to have full priority on, and this thing's going to be gone.
Two-man, Tarzan and Shanks. Otacon with... I got you, K-Man.
Yeah. But Flandra continuing to control the map, and the problem for 1xN at this point is he's just stuck. Like, there's no way for him to move. There's no way for him to do anything. Satan's just dead. Shanks just kills him.
Oh, I mean, the Rise is just so activated by this point. The Seraph's Roa is done. TT might be finished on this mid play without Saintab here. They're going to teleport Hoya in. The Grubs, though, are in the hands of AL, and if you give them a window, they're going to create a big hole in the building. Hoya having to flash away from Tarzan. In goes Xiaoheng Ren, throwing caution to the wind. Gets bopped down by Flandra. Shanks does fall to a good colding on the backside for 1xN, who finds a window to dash right into Hope's face. That's a trying to get over the wall. Dragon below half HP. The Tangle Barb, half HP Xiaoheng Ren. Does he want to dash into Tarzan and Flandra? No. With that chunk, they're going to give away a dragon that is pretty inconsequential. Just the second one for AL to grab. Good for TT, though, not forcing a fight that we've seen them do so many times.
I was going to get real upset if Thunder Talk forced a fight there. I was going to start getting a little bit antsy in terms of how they're playing the game, because there's just no reason to sell the game over second dragon, especially 25 minutes into the game, but they are able to hold themselves there. They were just looking for AL to overextend, which they do not do. Overall, again, inconsequential, but really the big objective now is going to be that Baron spawning up right now, and that's going to be the dance for AL. If they're going to be able to prioritize that, that's big.
Are we sure that's the main priority? Because it seems like this mid-tier 1 turn is what everybody wants. The Between Worlds, though, gets Kyle caught. 1xN able to step up for 1 kill, but now they got Xiaoheng Ren off to the side. One member dropping on both sides, with the solo lanes actually being down for TT makes this fight really hard to do with a low-range Lucian. 1xN has to be really careful about his dashes, and Shanks buying so much space, forcing Feather to flash away from him. Xiaoheng Ren, 1xN, and Feather going to watch their tower crumble, or do AL have bigger plans on the mind? The True Shot Barrage with the Otacon!
For Thunder Talk consistently, they are eventually going to have to face check this, and they don't really have a good champion to do that. They have no frontline tank to be able to engage. It's going to be Xiaoheng Ren. He's going to have to do it, but he's going to get caught.
Oh, he's caught in the trap. Kyle sends, and look who flies right over the head. It's Tarzan into the fray once more. Shanks blinks behind TT. Shanks is flashing after, looking to send TT home in 2-0 fashion. Saintab and 1xN already at half HP, all scattered to the wayside. 5 strong. AL will turn to the big bad Baron.
Again, just highlighting the problem. No vision and no tank. There's no way to walk up on that, and if AL are just going to play aggressive, it's an instant death for the Vi. It's a free Baron for AL, and now you're looking at a...
Justifiably could get worried about Flandra top lane picks, but this one is really fitting the bill of what AL needs. As Xiaoheng Ren once again trying to be proactive, gets caught by a Tangle Barb, Pop Blossom. Kyle has been doing that all game long to Xiaoheng Ren, tormenting him in his own jungle. that is not the TT jungle anymore.
You just can't be there, and that's the case for the rest of Thunder Talk here. 1xN
Oh,
has a chance to get out, but
1xN.
his team doesn't.
And the GA saves Tarzan. He won't even fall. Pops back up with the banner. Known in purple marker. Another bubble from Feather, though. Finds its mark onto Shanks, but TT are so low range. How are they going to get anywhere near this Rise? Even the Between Worlds doesn't get Satab a shot at a kill. It's all up AL's lane as they blow through turret after turret. All the while this was going on in the mid lane, K-Man, look what Flandra has done with one Nasus ult and a couple of swings of the cleaver.
This is the problem. There's just no way to engage for Thunder Talk, and as we see AL really pressuring them out, they're going to look to end the game here, and they've definitely got the damage to do so.
They've got grubs, they've got confidence, they've got 5 members strong. The only thing anyone's Legends doesn't have right now is a series sweep, and a couple more Mystic shots might get them to that point. Hoya respawns, but it flashes back towards the fountain. Nexus turrets down. Domination, anyone's Legends. But main point being, you put Poppy, like remember when you came in hyping up, you know, the Kyle Poppy, and it through a ban?
Aki potentially looking for a play mid. I don't know if he's going to find anything here, though.
Kara's flash available to him. Doinby's going to hop through with the perfect execution. The seismic shot doesn't land. Cease and desist is down and out, and see ya later, Care. Aki scooping up the kill. First big play for NIP on the board, but PP God is spotted by Jway, trying to clear a ward, but gets a crash down through it. Holy moly, where did Lee's damage just come from? Too bad that he gets jumped on by Shadow, and the piercing arrow gets canceled. So Lee will be cleared on out by the young gun jungler. Boy, played on this bot lane tier 2, tier 1 turret. Aki steals away camps. Let's not go ruin that Aki by getting caught going for a Scuttle Crab here, as the Vault Breaker in is going to get him locked down by the Deadly Flourish. Assume earning that. 2-man Keeper's Verdict throws both bottom lane members into the air as the 1v1 between the top players going out. Care gonna flash over the wall. The perfect execution doesn't find its mark. Doinby gonna flash forward and get the kill. 5 bans to Doinby don't mean squat right now.
Oh, I was just mentioning it, but the gap in the mid lane right now is absolutely ginormous. A 1.5k gold lead for Doinby by himself on this Akali in a matchup that we called out isn't even Akali favored, as we see a dance over a blue buff. That's what this game needs, a blue buff fight.
Shadow, smite 1, Jway throws Aki into the wall. The curtain call, though, is going to be interrupted by Leave, who's going to solo out Assume, gets the kill, is going to pay the bounty. So Sheer trades himself out the kill, but maybe Leave saving the rest of his team.
Now we actually see a potential contest over Herald here. I imagine FPX don't want to give this over.
All right, let's see one of those Keeper's Verdicts from Jway. He's trying to flank and keep solo kill off to the side. Doinby, though, sees an angle to go in onto Care. The exhaust comes down, though. Doinby gets shut down in his own shroud. PP God going forward. Keeper's Verdict from Jway only knocks out Care in the background, as we do watch Aki fall in his own 1v3 going forward if NIP want to grab themselves a Game 1 win here over FPX. And you look towards Aki now as the Dragon is being started up. Herald dropped in the background into the mid lane. Here comes the Weaver's Wall, though. Going to make it very hard to get over that wall. But here's the Vault Breaker, and here comes Aki right here to ring the bell. Steals away the Dragon. Doinby flying into the face of Assume. Look at the attention Doinby dictates. Care, Jway, and Assume all have to wait for this Akali. But here comes Shears Gwen. Dashing in with the needlework. Doesn't find any kills. It's PP God. It's going to be the only one dropping. Finally, a positive play from Aki as he wins the 50-50. And with the Herald, gets mid-tier 1 turret down.
In terms of scaling moving forward.
They've lost out on feats of strength, so the boot upgrades in NIP's hands. They've knocked down their second turret of the game. Will be immediately answered, though, by Sheer. Kali is dictating all of these fights, but maybe we have a skirmish coming first, as the flank teleport from solo kill does come out. He's got the ultimate, drops the equalizer, sees the assist. It's such a beautiful combo. The Seraph Shield is not enough to save Care. There's about enough time for the response. Sheer teleports in. Maybe get a bit sneaky here, starting the Dragon on his own. But Aki drops a pink ward, sees the Dragon is already being started. Shadow hasn't got a lot of damage in. Keeper's Verdict comes out a bit early. Only hits PP caught away. Doinby is teleporting in. Our NIP a bit too late. Down goes the Drake. We're even at 2 apiece. Does the chase begin? Does the hunt of Doinby kick off at this point? No. They don't want to chase into Fog. And Shadow gets away with highway robbery on that Dragon.
Great setup there from FPX to be able to grab that dragon. It's just well built, understanding that Shadow can actually start it pretty much for free, but it's Otacon now that's going to be the potential counter move made by Ninjas in Pajamas. FPX going to have to immediately come back to contest.
I know giving Otacon is tough, but this is such a bad window to try and force your way in. There's so many choke points. There's so little vision. Weaver's Wall going to come down from Care. Section's going to be off. The Otacon soon to reset its health bar, and it will. Shadow dashing over the wall after PP got flash lands from Jway. Aki gets slammed into the wall, and Doinby is nowhere to be found. He can't connect with his team in time. And FPX now get to take their shot at Otacon.
It's a disaster for Ninjas in Pajamas. They end up waiting for a Doinby flank that never comes.
Oh, solo kill! The seismic shove. Care redeems himself for the early game woes. Another single kill found for FPX. And they're back on Otacon again.
Doinby is completely separated. He has all the gold for Ninjas in Pajamas, and he's not in this fight at all. This is the problem. If you want to go for a flanking Akali, you're just not able to actually execute if you are too far behind. And not only is that dragon coming in to delay any sort of soul.
This game saw Shadow steal away a critical Drake once. Now he's really indexing his sneaky attributes, starting this Baron with limited vision. He is going to sack this Soul Point Drake. How much is PP God going to find out about this Baron, though? That Weaver's Wall should be singing alarm bells, PP God. That Baron is gone. Soul Point Drake felt like a big victory for NIP, and they just learned
on the bottom side, pushing with that Baron. He doesn't want to over push, but you know, FPX is in the area if they want to collapse.
He is very high level compared to Aki, PP God, but they're going all out for Sheer right now. 4 members committed. Yes, that's a teleport from Doinby in the background, and they are going to knock down the Gwen. Shadow's flank is a little bit too late. Do FPX still really want this fight without their Gwen? They've once again sectioned off Doinby, but Shadow's in a 1v3. He just does not win. Double kill over to solo kill as Doinby flies on in with the Pro Execution. Cares down next. The Keeper's Verdict just a little bit too late from Jway. All of that Baron work done by Shadow crumples as they give over 3 control. Now it all disintegrates. You go from having 3 Baron waves pushing in your favor to now just maybe 1 in this mid lane spot, and you give confidence over to Aki and NIP as Care is once again singled out. They are sitting on top of the equalizer, the most valuable Rumble ult you might see in the LPL for a while. So and NIP are happy to give away by this point. It's hard not to think about how different of a map state we'd be in if not for that last fight from FPX. These should be tier 2 turrets going down for Fun Plus Phoenix. It's just not the world we're living in right now. All right, none of it's going to matter, K-Man. This dragon will decide the game. Infernal Soul to an NIP comp like this is a signed, sealed, and shipped win in the name of Ninjas in Pajamas. Shadow is going to start it up. They're going to try and burn the dragon down. Once again, the Weaver's Wall is going to start things off. Care puts it right on top of the dragon. Equalizer down. Can Aki secure it? No! It's Shadow that grabs the Infernal Soul. Jway immediately burns to the mind of solo kill. In goes Aki, but it's Doinby flying through. Finds 1. Looks for Assume next. 5 bans don't mean squat to the Split 1 MVP. Just like that, it's a triple kill to Doinby and NIP wrecking Fun Plus Phoenix.
Would be a miracle play.
Needlework up in 2 seconds. He's got it now. There's no jungler. Equalizer's back up there for solo kill. Sheer. Needlework down. Stun's coming across. How much can he heal through? Not enough. Sheer's heroic plays fall flat. Baron and a kill for NIP.
And it just goes from bad to worse.
In the lineup. This guy's had some of the most impactful Rumble ults in this game that I've seen, but not much time to talk about it. Leaving PP God may be caught here. Weaver's Wall, curtain call. They're looking for the kills, but they just can't commit to them. Doinby teleports in. He's flying all the way. 1 versus 4. Goes into the stasis. Can NIP find the kills on the back? Doinby, no. He does get shut down on the front side of the fight. Solo kill. Able to set up a trade onto Shadow. With Baron, NIP will take that, getting more turrets off the back end.
Yeah, it's an okay fight for NIP. I think that they could have maybe ended the game there with slightly better execution, but Doinby just not able to find those targets exactly where they wanted him. Aki now, though, going for it.
Aki with the GA has all the confidence in the world. When you've got arrows like that from Leave on the back end, why not? 1 kill and inhibitor tower picked up. Aki's still hunting for more. Sheer's getting chunked day by day, damage by damage. NIP are pushing for a win here. It's only Care and Jway left. They've got the Baron Wave. They got another clutch equalizer from Solo Kill. There's nowhere to walk but over the molten lava. And NIP are looking to finish it off. Couple more shots into the Nexus turrets. Couple more kills to polish it off. 22-9. NIP stun FPX to take a 1-0 series lead.
What a win for Ninjas in Pajamas, as much as you have on previous patches. I think that some of those interactions are just a tad bit different than maybe they had been previously. Not that you can't...
Feast of the pack.
Well, he's gonna know. Yeah. He's gonna place the ward
straight
down.
towards his wolves. As he sees it. Now in a 2v2, Jue and PP God are here. Smite battle. Aki wins it. Zenith blade through. Jue does interrupt it with a good dredge line. But Doinby's first to swing over. Flashes galore coming down. Jue, health bar depleting rapidly. First kill over to NIP. They've got the man advantage, and now they're looking to chase down further. Assume gonna have to cleanse this stun. Likely flash himself back to safety. Leave going after. Not in auto attack range. The death ray falls short as well.
Prioritizing not only Drake's, but doing it even later in the game, as we see Engage.
Assume does have both of the summoners up once more. Ignite
Aki's
down.
6.
Aki, though, with the Cyclone, dashes in, finds the kill. You called it out so well, K-Man. That small window of an XP lead proves bountiful once more.
For NIP want from this point onwards on the map, they should be able to put their pressure wherever they need it to be and start stacking these dragons and maybe even playing for grubs as well.
For NIP.
Can Aki's still here, though.
He's got the Trickster too, so Cyclone's going to come out instantly. Care drops into the invis. They guess the wrong way Care's going, so he's got a bit of leeway to make the run. PP God going to burn his flash, but Care is still on the wrong side of the rift. There are very few exit doors out. PP God's got a beat on his route. He's going to use the Between Worlds to create more of a dash, but the Culling comes across. One hits its mark, and that gets Leave the kill and feats of warfare to NIP.
Yeah, it was a good attempt.
Drake stacking away. Again, this is the NIP comp, this comfortable scaling, playing for those later fights. Drake knows it. They're going to teleport in Sheer as well. Get a ton of damage down on the PP. Got to re-engage with the Solar Flare. Drops all the damage onto Jue. They do get the Dragon. Cyclone comes in from Aki, but he is alone this far forward. They don't get their top laner in until a bit late, but Aki's still alive and thriving. The bullet time on the back end, though, cuts out his escape route. Assume on the front side with Doinby and Leaf throwing out a ton of damage. Has to burn the flash. Leaf follows. Drench life for Jue, though. Let's assume crawl on out, but it's a marginal win. 3 kills to 1 and a Dragon. It's all up, Ninjas in Pajamas.
To take him down, which means it's not there for a lot of the rest of that fight. I want to give a lot of credit to Leave as well.
Now they are just kind of outmatched in fight angles, neutral priority. This is a whole different series than what we were expecting, and we'll see if this next fight can kind of level us back to a neutral spot as PP God finds a Dream Engage onto Assume and burns the cleanse. This bullet time, though, hits its mark onto Leave. He's got Shadow in his face, but luckily PP God and Doinby blow through Care and Assume. The Nefiri whimpering away as NIP run another fight.
It's awesome stuff from NIP. You're just in such a dominant position here that even though you've invested so many resources into making sure that specific lanes are strong, you're now looking at a team advantage that you can utilize. So if you see FPX index really heavily into taking down one member, there's just no way to be able to get the rest. And now FPX trying a last-ditch effort on Doinby.
Yeah, he doesn't have a stasis. He does have flash. He's able to get back towards his teammates with Shadows off towards the flank angle. Doinby's going to fall, but how much can they get with Aki? They trade Assume. That's 4 members to 3, though. I want to give a shout out to the observers for deciding after all this action in the last 10 minutes that Solo Kill's not been a part of. They're showing it, but they're not showing him because NIP are setting up plays like this. Jue gets locked down by PP God, and the Culling melts through his health bar. Aki flying after both Care and Assume, and guess what? They don't even feel confident enough to fight this Wukong. The jungle not even safe for FPX to traverse right now.
There's just nothing left on the map for FPX to be able to fight over. It's so aggressively played by Leave, and you look and you're like, okay, maybe Bullet Time can pull something back. It's a small close quarters fight. Sheer, is he gonna be able to solo kill here? Have to burn the Scion ultimate to get himself out of there. Almost a really funny turn of events, but worth noting, the bullet time in that fight, in a small, close quarters choke point, hits no one. 0 damage, like, absolutely nothing. And it's just, it's a disaster. Solo kill. Now gonna have to burn his flash after teleporting back.
You know what? That's do we call that a mental warfare W?
I mean, at this point, you take what you can get if you're FPX. I mean, even the Scion's like a level up or an item up right now onto the Yorick, and so
5-minute banger to piloting a dominating carry performance. As NIP are running away with this game at 21 minutes. They get an uncontested Otacon. It's just all up NIP stocks, baby.
NIP, they're just pushing wherever they want to push, and FPX are funneled into just having to run away from Raptors.
Herald is going to get interrupted by that wave. Leave, the crash down is not worth your life, but the culling nearly fully deletes Assume's health bar. It does cost Leave his life, and they get Shadow up near towards Sheer. So we get some really weird fighting lines. Here comes solo kill. Does not hit Shadow. That's also Cyclone down out of Aki. So a bit of the worries for NIP showing. Leave overextending himself, trying to do everything on his own. Does cost him the shutdown. Like you called out, K-Man. Where NIP are at right now, shutting down only one threat is not enough.
Some team fights that could potentially go very, very poorly for FPX if they want to try and take a front-to-back 5v5. That being said, it's going to have to be forced at some point. Ninjas in Pajamas have no reason not to group up and create a lot of these exchanges. We talk about simplifying the process is the term I use a lot in terms of drafts and just making sure that your win condition is never overly difficult to execute on. Well, you know, Wukong, Leona engage with Victor, Lucian follow-up, not particularly difficult to execute on if you can get those fights. That's what NIP are looking for. Shui is going to be the first target.
Yep, flashes away from the Solar Flare. PP God taking an aggressive route, trying to get to Care. But Assume can't do enough damage. Another flash claimed by PP God almost alone. Flashes galore just being dropped as Assume tries to get away from Aki. But one Cyclone's enough. Care trying to trade back, but he just can't find any avenue in. NIP are an impenetrable wall right now in these fights. 3-0 once more.
I mean, this is the problem. There's just no fight to take on the map. There's nothing that you can do. Aki, by himself, once again, behind enemy lines, 3v1, and he gets a solo kill and just gets to dash out. He's not even remotely concerned. He's having a phenomenal game right now. I don't even think we're giving him enough credit for just how well he's played, but Leave, you know, with those cullings and constantly dashing forward on this Lucian, you can see the aggressiveness from Doingby, PP God, you know, everybody is just playing with so much confidence right now, and it means that this entire map is Ninjas in Pajamas to lose.
What? Oh, FPX really need to capitalize on these windows where they get ults out for very little.
Is solo kill just killing Sheer?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, this is Scion scale. I mean, the guy eats shields for breakfast. He slaps down minions, and the namesake comes across. Sheer's down. Re-engage comes across from FPX, but look at Doingby's damage. The Arcane Storm swallowing all of FPX whole.
Just nothing to find in the jungle. If you are looking for one of NIP to be too far forward, maybe you can get Aki in a situation like that, but you're going to have to pay the price of losing almost your entire team. We saw Sheer get solo killed by solo kill down on the bot side. Shadow now. He's going to try to clear the wave. Understands maybe that he can't kill solo kill. He's going to try, but I don't even know if he can. I think this is just wasting time for the Neferi as the NIP team just sieges down the base.
Damage is bouncing off this guy. This is full desperation from Shadow.
Teleport from Doingby.
Oh my God! They don't even want to let solo kill die. They don't care about the push. This is personal right now.
Like, you know, matchups as we see the solo kill here for solo kill. The interesting thing, we could be seeing these two teams play a best of 5 to see who gets into playoffs. Like, that's where these standings are at right now. If this is a preview of that, NIP is going to be in a really good spot. Just look at this. There's no damage onto the Scion. We saw how long it took a Neferi to try and take down this champion. You think that, you know,
bye-bye.
Oh my God.
2v1. You thought the 1v1 was bad. Let me bring in a 3-item Wukong. What does that do for me?
Yeah. Somehow, some way that didn't make it easier for the Yorick to be able to win it. I don't know who could have predicted that, but
no way.
It just goes from bad to worse, man. Like, it's not good for FPX, and now they're just trying to salvage their base as much as they can, but this could be the final push coming in from Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, they're so confident. They're pushing into the base, diving near Nexus turrets. Baron is up. They can just take that. They go through the motions, but instead, NIP want to go for the throw. Leave is getting led astray here, trying to chase down Shadow.
Oh.
And he's not going to get him. Shadow buys a lot of time. PP God's fairly low, so he'll just take the inhibitor and back out, and maybe NIP will just go through the motions and look for Baron instead of the solo kill. Just kind of zones all of FPX on his own. All right, so he's got He knocked back 3 guys with the blast cone. Baron's gone. FPX is late. And now they got to run away because one solar flare will see Shadow go down. Great use of the untargetable. Gets away, though, from the Zenith Blade. Again, small wins for FPX. Not dying is nice, but in this game state, they need a miracle, a Hail Mary, to have a chance at keeping the sweep at bay.
Yeah, a miracle would probably be an undersell of what it would take as we see them starting to siege down and solo kill diving in.
40k HP Scion jumps right into your team. What do? You crumble. Cyclone not even used on Assume. He gets a 4-man knockup 2 times over for Aki. There it is. Sign it, ship it, seal it, whatever way you want to do it. Doinby and NIP might just be back as they sweep out their second opponent in 3 matches.
Unbelievable stuff here from Ninjas in Pajamas as they claim